The Dershow.
The ping pong match between President Trump and the federal judiciary continues. I don't mean to make light of it, but every day, president comes up with an executive order, and some court somewhere strikes it down. Another court somewhere else says, no, we're going to uphold it. Another court says, we'll stay it, and we'll see what happens. Obviously, all these executive orders will go through three stages of review. The district court, and those generally are the least reliable because plaintiffs pick and choose where to file their lawsuits, and they pick the most favorable places to file the lawsuits. The second level is the United States Court of Appeals. That too can be affected by judge shopping, because not only do you pick the district, you pick also the circuit. Circuits, there are 10 of them or so. And so if you pick a New York judge, you also get the Second Circuit, which is not going to be particularly favorable to Trump. Then you get the Supreme Court, and we don't know. We just don't know. Obviously, President Trump has had an enormous impact on the current Supreme Court, and there have been some cases in his favor, particularly the immunity case. But there have been some cases against him as well. And so we just don't know. My own Dershowitz prediction is that, some will be struck down, some will be upheld. Birthright citizenship will be struck down. I do not believe that the Constitution permits the president alone without Congress to fly in the face of the words of the 14th Amendment. Of course, the words are to some degree ambiguous because it says under the jurisdiction of the United States, and that is subject to interpretation. But there is a Supreme Court decision from the 19th century that seems to move in the direction of allowing people born in the United States, even to people who are not citizens of the United States, to be birthright citizens. So we'll wait and see. But I think a lot of the administrative agency cases will be upheld. The president has an enormous amount of power as the chief executive, in fact, the executive, to make decisions that are executive in nature. Now, a lot of them involve bureaucratic agencies, alphabet agencies. The term the administrative state is an apt one. We live in a country really with four branches of government, obviously the president, the legislature, the judiciary, but we also have the bureaucracy, all the alphabet agencies that have as much influence as any of the three branches, and certainly employ more people than any of the three branches. So the question there is not so much, are they a fourth branch of government? They're not. The question is whether Congress, which created these agencies like the Interstate Commerce Commission or the Federal Communications Commission, whether Congress, by doing that, took away some of the executive's power over those agencies. And there's what's called the Chevron doctrine, and I'm not going to get involved in the details of what would be a 4-hour law school course or class, but I will say it's somewhat complicated. But the point of the show today is to make a somewhat different point. That is, there are things the president does that are within his power that the courts will uphold, but that doesn't make him right. That doesn't make him right. I want to talk about one such thing. I think the court will ultimately uphold the power of the president to cut back on some aspects of medical research. It's discretionary. And I don't think that the courts are going to say that when you cut so-and-so out of the budget, or when you refuse to spend money that Congress has allocated, that you're necessarily violating the Constitution. But is it smart? Is it smart to cut medical research? Who are the major beneficiaries of medical research? First and foremost, American citizens. We benefit when there's research on diabetes. Our parents, our great-grandparents, in my case, me and others, I don't have diabetes, but some in my family do, benefit from them. One of the researches that was cut off the other day was research on pancreatic cancer. I have a close friend who's suffering from it. now, and any breakthrough on research will help that person. But it not only helps citizens of the United States, for those of you and for the administration, America first, make America great again. Surely the fact that it helps Americans is crucially important, but probably the most important single export that the United States makes around the world is medical research, medical science, and pharmacology. Uh, Maybe it's second only to films. We lead the world in exporting films and entertainment and media, but the world wouldn't collapse if Netflix went out of business. But the world might very well collapse if the Johns Hopkins Medical School can no longer do the kind of research that has saved so many lives.